Ace Frehley had played thousands of shows and never stopped mid-song. But that night, a child held up a drawing and Ace froze. He said nothing, just looked, and everyone understood why. Milwaukee. November 1987. The Riverside Theater. A Tuesday night. Cold outside. Warm inside. 1,500 people packed into a venue built for vaudeville 60 years earlier, now hosting something louder, rawer, older in a different way. Ace Frehley was 3 songs into his set. Not Kiss. Not the makeup. Not the Spaceman character that had made him famous. Just Ace. Just a man with a guitar doing what he'd always done before the costumes and the pyrotechnics and the mythology. Playing. The stage lights carved him out of darkness. Long dark hair. Leather jacket. That Gibson Les Paul hanging from his shoulder like it had grown there. His fingers moved across the fretboard with the kind of ease that comes from 10,000 hours of practice nobody sees. The solo was building. Measured, controlled, every note deliberate. He never rushed. That was Ace's signature. Other guitarists played fast to prove something. Ace played at the speed the music needed. No more. No less. The crowd was with him. That collective breathing that happens when a room full of strangers synchronizes to the same rhythm. Heads nodding. Bodies swaying. The communal trance of live music. And then Ace stopped playing. Not a pause. Not a rest. Stopped. His right hand dropped from the strings. His left hand slid down the neck of the guitar. The sound died. The band behind him faltered, drums hesitating, bass trailing off, everyone confused. What happened? Equipment failure? Broken string? But Ace's guitar was fine. Ace was fine. Technically. He was standing at the edge of the stage, looking down. Just looking. His face turned toward the front row, towards something the rest of the venue couldn't see yet. The stage lights kept burning. The crowd's momentum carried them forward for another few seconds before people started to notice. Then the realization spread backward through the room like a wave in reverse. Something's wrong. No. Not wrong. Something's different. 1,500 people went quiet. Ace didn't defend himself. He never did. To understand what Ace saw, you need to understand what Ace carried. 1974. Kiss was exploding. The makeup. The characters. Peter Criss was the Catman. Gene Simmons was the Demon. Paul Stanley was the Star Child. And Ace Frehley was the Spaceman, the silent one, the mysterious one, the one who let his guitar do the talking while the others commanded the stage with personality and showmanship. It worked. The image worked. The mythology worked. Kiss became one of the biggest bands in the world. But Ace was never comfortable with it. The makeup felt like a mask in the wrong way. Not a performance tool. A hiding place. The Spaceman character became a wall between Ace Frehley the musician and the people who loved his music. You're the quiet one, interviewers would say. The mysterious one. Ace would nod. What else could he do? Argue? Explain that he wasn't mysterious, just focused? That he didn't talk much because he'd rather play? That the character they'd created wasn't him? He tried once. Early on. After a show in Detroit, a music journalist asked him why he never spoke during performances. I do speak, Ace said. Through the guitar. The journalist laughed. Thought it was a line. Wrote it up as Ace being cryptic, being the Spaceman, playing the character. Ace stopped trying to explain after that. He learned something from those years. People see what they want to see. They hear what they expect to hear. You can tell them the truth and they'll reinterpret it to fit their existing story. So Ace stopped talking to journalists much. Stopped doing the press rounds. Let Gene and Paul handle that. He'd show up, play, leave. Off stage, away from the cameras, Ace was different. People who knew him, really knew him, not the image, knew a guy who was generous, thoughtful, genuinely humble. He'd stay after shows to talk to fans, especially young musicians who wanted advice. He'd answer every question about technique, about gear, about how he got certain sounds. Don't overthink it, he'd tell them. Feel it first. Think later. But those conversations happened in parking lots, in hotel lobbies, in quiet moments nobody wrote articles about. The public story remained: Ace Frehley, the space ace, the mysterious one who never explained himself. By 1987, Ace had left Kiss. The makeup was gone. The character was retired. He was doing solo work, trying to rebuild an identity that was actually his. But the shadow remained. People still expected the Spaceman. Still expected silence. Still expected mystery. Ace was learning to live with it. You can't control what people think. You can only control what you do. And what Ace did was play. Subscribe and leave a comment, because some moments only make sense when we remember them together. The show in Milwaukee was going well. Good crowd. Good energy. Ace felt loose, comfortable. This was a smaller venue than Kiss used to play, more intimate, more direct. He could see faces in the front rows. Could feel the connection without the distance of arenas and stadium shows. Third song. A solo piece he'd written specifically for this tour. No vocals. Just guitar. The kind of playing that reminded people why Ace Frehley was respected by musicians even if the general public knew him more for the makeup and the character. He was halfway through when he saw her. Front row. Right side. Maybe 7 years old. Small. Long brown hair. Wearing a t-shirt that was too big for her. One of those kids whose parents brought them to shows because music was a family language. She wasn't jumping or dancing like the other kids in the crowd. She was holding something up. A piece of paper. Standard white printer paper, folded in half, now unfolded and held above her head with both small hands. A drawing. Pencil. Simple lines. The kind of art children make when they're drawing someone they care about. It was a picture of Ace. Not the Spaceman. Just Ace. Long hair. Guitar. Simple. Honest. The way a child sees someone, essential features, no elaboration. At the bottom, in careful child handwriting. Thank you for the music. Ace saw it. And stopped playing. His hands dropped from the guitar. Not dramatically. Not as a performance choice. They just dropped. Like strings being cut. The rest of the band kept playing for maybe 2 more bars before they realized what had happened. Then silence. Complete silence. 1,500 people not making a sound. Ace walked to the edge of the stage. Slowly. He crouched down, still 10 feet above the floor, but as close as he could get. He looked at the drawing the little girl was holding up. Really looked. Not a glance. A long, steady look. The stage lights were still bright. The crowd could see his face clearly. No makeup to hide behind. No character to perform. Just Ace Frehley's face, lit from above, looking at a child's drawing. His jaw was tight. His eyes were wet. The little girl's arms were getting tired. The drawing was wavering. Her father, standing right behind her, put his hand on her shoulder. Steady. Proud. Ace reached down. He couldn't reach her from the stage, the gap was too far. But he made the gesture, palm up, fingers extended. The universal sign for, "Can I see it?" The girl's father lifted her up. Just high enough that she could reach toward the stage. Someone in the venue crew, a stage hand who'd been watching from the wings, ran out with a small stepladder. Positioned it by the edge of the stage. The father climbed up with his daughter. Now she was at stage level. Eye to eye with Ace Frehley. She handed him the drawing. Ace took it carefully. Like it was fragile. Like it mattered. He looked at it again. Then at her. "What's your name?" His voice was quiet, but the microphones caught it. The whole venue heard. "Emma," she said. Shy. Scared. Thrilled. "Did you draw this yourself, Emma?" She nodded. "It's beautiful," Ace said. Can I keep it? She nodded again. Bigger this time. Smiled. Ace stood up. Walked to his amp stack at the back of the stage. Tucked the drawing carefully into the front pocket of his guitar case. Then he walked back to Emma, still standing on the stepladder with her father. He took off one of his guitar picks, the one he'd been using all night, worn smooth on the edges, and handed it to her. "Thank you," he said, "for reminding me." Away from the spotlight, Ace made a choice no one expected. The show resumed. Ace walked back to center stage, picked up where the solo had left off. The band came back in. The crowd erupted, not the excited applause of entertainment, but something deeper. Gratitude. Witnessing. But Ace played differently after that moment. Slower. More deliberate. Every note given the weight it deserved. After the show, Ace asked his tour manager to find Emma and her father. Bring them backstage. No press. No cameras. Just them. They came. Emma still clutching the guitar pick. Her father trying not to cry. Ace sat down with them in a quiet corner of the green room. No entourage. No handlers. Just 3 people. "Why did you draw that picture?" Ace asked Emma. She thought about it. 7-year-old thoughts arranging themselves into words. "My mom died," she said finally. "Last year. She used to play your music. All the time. When she was sick, she'd ask my dad to put on your guitar solos." She said they helped her breathe. Ace went very still. Emma's father spoke, his voice rough. After she passed, Emma started drawing. Lots of drawings. People. Places. But she kept drawing you. Over and over. Different versions. I asked her why. She said. He stopped, composed himself. She said you were the sound of Mom being okay. Ace looked at the little girl. At her father. At the weight they were both carrying. I'm going to keep that drawing forever, Ace said. And every time I play, I'm going to remember your mom. And you. Okay? Emma nodded. Music doesn't fix things, Ace said quietly. But sometimes it helps us carry them. Your mom knew that. You know that. That's why that drawing matters. He pulled out a Sharpie. Drew something on the back of one of his set list cards. Handed it to Emma's father. That's my personal number. Not my manager. Not my assistant. Me. If Emma ever wants to talk about music, or guitars, or anything, call. I mean it. They stayed for 20 minutes. Ace showed Emma his main guitar. Let her touch the strings. Explained how different pickups worked. Talked to her like she was another musician, not a child. When they left, Emma's father turned back at the door. Thank you for stopping, he said. The show. Thank you for seeing her. Ace shook his head. I should thank her. For reminding me what this is actually about. What followed silenced everyone in the room. The drawing traveled with Ace for the next 37 years. Not in storage. Not in a warehouse with other memorabilia. In his guitar case. The same case he took to every show, every recording session, every sound check. Other musicians who worked with Ace saw it. Some asked about it. Ace would just say, a fan gave it to me. Never elaborated. Never told the story. Emma grew up. Became a music teacher. Taught guitar to kids in the same city where her mother had raised her. She named her first daughter after her mother. She still had the guitar pick. Framed in her classroom. Above it, a small handwritten sign. Someone always needs to hear you play. They stayed in touch. Not often. Birthday cards. Occasional calls. The kind of quiet, sustained connection that doesn't need constant maintenance. In 2019, Ace was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At the ceremony, during his acceptance speech, he said something that confused most people in the audience. The best moment of my career wasn't in a stadium. It was in a theater in Milwaukee in 1987, when a little girl taught me what I'd forgotten. It's not about how loud you play or how fast. It's about who's listening. And why. Nobody knew what he meant except the people who'd been there that night. And Emma, watching from home with her own daughter, who saw her mom crying and asked why. Because someone remembered, Emma said. And that's the whole point. Share and subscribe. Some stories deserve to be remembered. The drawing never left Ace's guitar case. When journalists asked why he never displayed it, he'd just say, "Some things aren't for showing. They're for carrying." In 2024, Ace announced his final tour. Emma brought her daughter to the show. Same venue. Milwaukee. Riverside Theater. Backstage, Ace showed Emma's daughter the drawing, now yellowed, edges soft, but still there. Still carried. "Your grandmother's memory lives here," he told the girl. "Your mom's drawing lives here. And now you'll remember that music isn't about fame. It's about who needs to hear it." The girl looked at the faded pencil lines. "Did it change you?" she asked. Ace was quiet for a long moment. "It reminded me who I was before I forgot." That night, during his final solo, Ace played slower than ever. Every note given the weight it deserved. He never explained himself. He never had to. Some truths don't need words. They just need to be played.